tuning into Roof Connections, a show dedicated to facility maintenance topics for anyone who works in the industry or just has an interest in facility maintenance. My name is David Huval, and I'll be your host. Today, you can see we are doing the podcast live out of our houses. We're trying to do our part to stay quarantined and stop the spread. Today, I am joined by three gentlemen from RoofConnect. We've got the Vice President of Sales, Crosswhite. We've got Vice President of Technical Services, Jeremy Hill, and Vice President of Operations, Jeremy Hill. You think I'd know that? He's my boss. And then the Vice President of Technical Services, Eric Harrison. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Good morning.
All right. And y'all are all in Little Rock there at the office. I'm assuming they're probably doing some of the same quarantine measures in Little Rock as they are here in Dallas now, right?
Getting closer, yeah. We're always a little behind, but
that's all right. We're all doing our part, trying to stop the spread, and hope that before too long we can just get back to work and back to business as usual. So, well, thanks for joining me today, guys. Today I want to talk a little bit about spring storms, thunderstorms, and hail damage specifically. Spring of 2020 officially started a few weeks ago. And with it come the huge costs from thunderstorms and hail damage. And here are a few of the facts about major hail events in the United States. So according to the Insurance Information Institute, in 2016, there were over 5,600 major hail events in the United States, causing over $3.5 billion in property damage. States that usually suffer the most damage from major hail events each year include Texas, Kansas, Nebraska, parts of South Dakota, and Colorado. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Severe Storm Database, that's a mouthful, major hail events tend to start occurring more frequently in March to April, before peaking in May and June, and typically continue to occur frequently throughout the summer into September. So, guys, while there's not much we can do about preventing storms and hail, what are a few things that property managers can do now to protect their roofs before spring thunderstorms and major hail events start occurring?
You may take that one to start off.
Whoever wants to jump in, go ahead.
All right. Well, one thing the customers need to do is make sure that your insurance policies are up to date, because typically hail event is an insurable event, something that your insurance will cover. So make sure that that's up to date, and then make sure that you have a qualified roofer, someone that is experienced, someone that's knowledgeable, and somebody that's reputable in your roof to check for that type of damage.
yeah, just to add to that, I think information is key there, and having the knowledge of what's up there. So often what happens is in the hail services is roofs get damaged, and it's minor damages. It's like hairline cracks in their roof, and so it doesn't leak immediately. It's kind of like a crack in your windshield, and as time goes on, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it starts to crack and leak. And then they call their insurance company, and the insurance company looks at the hail forecast and says, well, you haven't had hail in 9 months, so this can't be hail. And that's simply not the situation. So knowing the status of your roof before a hailstorm is important, and then knowing directly after it is extremely important as well.
Yeah, one thing we see, obviously we're seeing a lot more single ply roofs in the commercial world, and hail damage doesn't always show up immediately. So one good thing to do, or a couple good things to do, is get on your roof and see if you've got any rooftop units like exhaust fans or air conditioners or something like that. Look for dings and dents in the coils or in the covers of those things. And then also, a lot of times, our cool roofs that are white aren't always white after they've been on for a little while. Start looking for, in all that dirt, start looking for the little white pock marks. That doesn't mean your roof has measles. It means that you probably have hail damage. So check for that. And apart from that, it's like Wade said, the damage doesn't always show up immediately. One thing that needs to be done is have your roofing contractor cut out an area of the membrane and check the backside of it. That's where you'll see the damage before you'll see it on the top side, you'll see it on the back side. It's usually like in some type of dimple or a crack. And over time, that thing will migrate. It'll break down the scrim inside your reinforcement inside your membrane, and it'll migrate to the top side of your membrane. And then that's when you're going to start that's when you'll have those problems Wade's talking about months later.
Yeah, just to add to that, Eric said two really important things there. One is have a roofing contractor go out there. Somebody, you need to be partnered with a trusted roofing professional. I mean, to me, it always blows my mind when I think the insurance industry is, I'm going to pay you money. So if something happens, you can tell me if you need to pay me back.
Yeah.
And I don't understand any of the policy, right? So you never hear about an insurance company going under because they had to pay out too many claims. What insurance companies do, I think, is the peel back section that Eric's talking about. I think they do 8 inches by 8 inches. Is that right, Eric? And
something pretty small.
So many times I've seen where the insurance company goes out and they take the single ply and they cut 8 inches by 8 inches, pull it back, and there's no divots there. And then a roofing contractor will come out and do 6 foot by 6 foot of that same part and pull it back, and you can see. And so don't just take, no matter how great a guy your insurance guy is, don't just take his word, because the money is too big here. You need to have a trained professional roofer. And like Eric said, they can look at the flashings and counter flashings and see if there's dents in the metal and go through and find where there's hail damage. And if your roof is damaged by hail, I don't care if your roof's not leaking immediately, it is going to be severely damaged months later, and you're going to have major problems. So you've got to be on the front end of that, of identifying it, and have somebody who can help you identify that, and go to your insurance agent then. Don't go to your insurance agent and ask them and then just take that at their word. So
what advice would you have for, facility managers that have a, say their store is in a part of the country like Tornado Alley, they get hail throughout the whole season. You just have to play that by ear and watch for leaks. Because
what I would recommend is, and every facility director at home is going to be like, well, we didn't have any in the path of hail.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a trained, trusted roofing professional go out and inspect the roof for hail damage, regardless. You're talking about a $800 inspection, and if you don't identify it, because so many people, the roof is out of sight, out of mind, right? If it is not caught, you could have a $400,000 roof that's, instead of getting your 25 years out of it, you're going to get 3 or 4. There's that kind of money at play here. So it is well worth having those inspections done.
Yeah, and just to add, for a facility manager that has a lot of locations throughout the country and they're focusing on trying to maintain all of those, having a trusted source to help identify areas where hail strikes may have hit, and RoofConnect is available to help facility managers in that sense. But there's also health software out there that'll show the areas of where the hail strikes were at, and even if you're on the fringe of that location, as Wade mentioned, you need to spend the time to do some due diligence to assess your roof and make sure you were in the clear.
Yeah, if you put yourself in the shoes of the insurance agent, they're not going to climb up on a roof and spend all day trying to find hail damage so they can pay you money. But if somebody delivers a report to them that clearly shows that there's hail damage and they identify it, they're probably not going to climb up there and try to prove that guy wrong either. So going to them with clear evidence before is very strong, because once they go up there and say, no, we don't see any hail damage, anything you do after that, you're fighting an uphill battle. Yeah. If you go to them with a concise professional report and show that hail damage, your chances of getting it paid for is a lot greater.
Yeah, and we spent a lot of time talking about the single ply side of it. The shingle side's a little easier. to discern, that there was actual hail damage. The comment that Eric made earlier about looking at your HVAC units is spot on. Your any kind of pipe penetrations or caps that you have, it's anything that's metal can show that there's been hail damage. But on a shingle roof, it's going to show up pretty prominently. And there's a certain equation that the insurance company will use as far as how many strikes in a certain square foot or a section to determine whether or not they're going to replace it. And they may only replace a section of it, but shingles are definitely a lot easier to see than what happens to a single ply roof.
Yeah, for sure. If a roof is damaged during a severe storm, what are some tips to help property managers find qualified roofing contractors like RoofConnect and avoid the fly-by-night scam artists looking to take advantage of the situation?
Well, to me, if you've got obviously a small contractor pulls less leverage with an insurance agent. So there's some really great small roofing contractors out there. They carry less weight with the insurance agents. So if you've got a small contractor you use and you're partnering with a big one, always go with the bigger one. And, putting a roof down, doing leak calls, and doing inspections are really three different skill sets. So knowing which ones can put together a professional report and have enough leverage to tell an insurance company, this is what we're finding, and we don't need this one single re-roof. We're a major company, and we can also have a big influence over a lot of customers. So if you if you skip out on this customer, it could hurt your reputation. So to me, that's the big thing there. Is it's all about leverage and their reputation. They never want to pay, right?
Yeah.
So, but they do not want to hurt their reputation either. So,
it's important.
Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
It's important to know who your partners are before something like this happens.
Yeah.
And selecting the right people prior to an event will ensure that they're going to be there after the repairs or after the replacement is made. And the guys that come in from out of town, I mean, you can pretty much spot them. They're going to be heavy on the residential side. Some will dabble into the commercial side, especially if they're doing a roof for a landlord or something at their house. Then they say, oh yeah, well, we can do that repair as well. But if you know that they're not from the local area, then be skeptical right off the bat, because they're going to come in, they're going to do a job. It may be good, it may be bad. And if it's bad, they're not going to be there to make repairs, and you're going to be finding somebody else to try to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say be sure and just do your due diligence with any contractor you're working with, because in an event like a big hail event, and we've seen it with hail damage, with tornado damage, whatever, these contractors come in and they go knocking doors and they're handing out business cards, and anybody can write insured and licensed on their business card. That doesn't mean anything. Check them out to make sure that they're really licensed and insured. Because if you don't, it's like Jeremy and Wade were saying, you're going to be stuck holding the bag when your roof's still leaking 6 months later and that guy's nowhere to be found.
Yeah. I've also been told another good thing to do is a lot of them will want you to put a deposit down so they can order materials. Is don't give a roofer any money until there's materials on site at least.
Right.
That's correct.
All right. So why is it so important to repair this initial hail damage on a commercial roof, especially a commercial roof?
Once that damage is there, the two things to me are that the longer you wait, the less likely you are to get it funded from the insurance. Mm-hmm. And the longer you wait, like I was saying earlier, it spreads, it cracks out like a windshield. So it becomes bigger and more expensive to repair. And, if a hailstorm hits 1 week and within 2 weeks, you've taken it to the insurance company and showed them, they're not going to be surprised. They've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of claims coming in. Your chances of getting that paid for are better. And that's what you want. If you wait 9 months until it's leaking, because it will leak, it may take a while, but as those, especially in PVC and TPO, it just it grows as it shrinks and contracts or expands and contracts over time. And then your chances of getting it paid for or getting help from the insurance company becomes less and less. So,
yeah, I think the other thing is the public concern, especially if you have foot traffic inside your building. You have an obligation to do as much as you can. So reporting that there was a potential prior issue, to take the steps for whenever issues start to occur, and then having your roofing contractor go out and make an assessment and address potential leak areas prior to them leaking, especially if they can locate them, will help prevent future problems on the inside.
Yeah, early detection. It's like anything else in your life. Early detection is best because you can address it before it becomes bad, and it's usually a lot more economical to fix it early than it is to fix it down the road. Like Wade and Jimmy were saying, you've got an obligation to your tenants, to your employees in your building, to your customers, whoever's in there, to address that stuff and address it early.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, commercial roofs are definitely not, like residential roofs and shingle roofs. The cost of replacing even a smaller, section of a commercial roof is a lot more than a residential roof. So I see how letting that damage build up over time could be lead to a much more costly repair than if you just taken care of it immediately after the storm. At least had somebody come out here and look through it. So
yeah, it's a lot easier to take, like I've used the example of like a vehicle, and I know Wade used it with changing the oil in your car, but it's like if I feel a wobble in one of my wheels or hear something squeaking, I probably need to go get it checked out. It'd be a lot easier and a lot less painful to get it fixed then versus when the wheel falls off when I'm going down the highway at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So things get exponentially worse when you put them off.
That reminds me, my truck's making a noise. I need to go take it in too. So, well, did y'all have anything else y'all wanted to share before we shut this down?
No, I don't think so. I think if anybody has any concerns, find a local contractor or a large contractor and look for a good inspection report. I think that's like Jeremy said, identify your partners before the hail comes, not after. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks for joining me this week on the call, guys. I appreciate you taking some time to meet with me online. This is kind of a new deal, so we're still figuring it out, but I think it worked out pretty well. So
wash your hands.
Yeah,
don't touch your face.
But I'm the worst about touching my face too. Go out in public to a grocery store and touch that cart, and immediately it's like my face starts itching, or like
I know.
I get an eyelash in my eye. I immediately want to rub something. So
I don't know what to do.
Girlfriend stayed on top of me to keep me from biting my nails and things like that. So I haven't got sick so far, knock on wood. So all right, guys. Well, thanks again for coming on and joining me today. If you have any questions or topics you'd like to hear discussed on future episodes, shoot us an email at roofconnections@roofconnect.com. That's roofconnections@roofconnect.com. Also, if you like today's show, please take a moment to give us a like and review on iTunes or Spotify and share it on social media. This is a brand new podcast, and it really helps us when you help us spread the word. Also, if you're listening to this podcast, I want to let you know that we're recording these episodes and we post them to our YouTube page. Just go to YouTube and search Roof Connections Podcast. It should come right up. So I think that's it for today. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.